shoot, what set did you claim it? Instant Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalker, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much making a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's a man with king? No response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot, what set did you claim?
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted, this what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, The King, which is special Father's Day edition of Xbox Frontline News. Now, first and foremost, I put this up because let's say you're a dad and nobody is checking for you, and you feel disrespected, you feel rejected, you feel neglected. I'm here for you. I'm putting out this video for you. I'm here to tell you that you matter. In a month that is Men's Mental Health Month, which is June, this whole month is for checking in on the people that society has forgotten, men. And I know that's a harsh thing to say, but when Father's Day is the 20th most celebrated holiday, I grasp at straws to figure out 19 more holidays that is greater than the importance of a father. Men have been devalued, and more so in this generation, taken for granted, looked as an ATM or a protection device. I say this, that I'm here for you. We have to get back to the brotherhood where it's each one to each one, and am I my brother's keeper? So yes, I am. I choose to use my platform as a bonding technique for us individuals. Now, I know I use a lot of satire, but I go at companies and I go at groups of individuals that are toxic, not any one individual. I don't do anything like that. Again, the larger corporations and toxic groups of individuals that band together to be malicious and evil. But other than that, I'm for the people, by the people. And definitely want to make sure that you know that you're valued. Now, to get back to what we're talking about today, we're going to talk about the handhelds. We're going to talk about some stuff that is transpiring in the industry that you should have a watchful eye for. You know, as we move further and further to digital, we also have to watch these larger entities going in and gobbling up these smaller entities, where I'm talking about developers, that really don't have a chance or stand a chance. So let's get to these topics. As part of the strategy going forward, Sony is starting to remove the barriers of entry from a lot of these countries that normally see these barriers of entry. Now, this had affected a large portion of their company as far as the reach that they can have with games. So you've seen Helldivers, you've seen God of War, you've seen Spider-Man, I think The Last of Us, Days Gone. A lot of these titles, Horizon, a lot of these titles, they're bigger known titles, was receiving these regional restrictions. That doesn't seem to be the case any longer. They're freeing it up. Now, as I talked about the strategy that's going forward with Sony and PlayStation, being everywhere and being in countries that normally doesn't have access to your games is a larger step into becoming profitable. As we saw today with the meeting, profitability is high in Sony's agenda. And this is a large step going forward because producing this leads me to believe that day and day is around the corner. I told you before, all money ain't good money. And the wildest part is, who would have thought that Shift Up is worth more than Sony? I'm talking about stock wise. I think their stocks is at what, $64.80, $64.89 to be exact, $64.89. And Sony's stock is like at $24. I mean, for the those that's keeping count. But the bigger problem is this: Tencent owns a large majority of that. I think it's like 39% of their stocks, while another subsidiary of Tencent owns somewhere like 34% of Shift Up stock. The problem with this is, being that they're like the global publisher for Shift Up, Shift Up's mobile aspect of it. The problem is they need a contingency plan. If Tencent was to increase their holdings by purchasing more stocks, getting buyouts from other shareholders, and that would drastically change the input that Tencent has with Shift Up. The deals that they made, like exclusive deals with Sony and stuff like that, will probably come under greater scrutiny, and titles will no longer be, how would I say it, marginally dictated by Shift Up. It will be wholly dictated by the majority of shareholders over at Tencent. This is a precarious little bind Shift Up finds himself in. Now, a lot of you guys, I understand that, the PlayStation's fire chat, if you will, had a lot of talk about of games, Shift Up, and Stellar Blade being one of the games that was highly touted as far as bringing in revenue as a third party, and we see it as a third party machine. So we actually see what this stuff can do and change as perception wise. To find themselves in this position is troublesome. Hopefully Shift Up can escape the clutches of Tencent. Herman Holtz told, from the fire chat, told a lot of people that they're having a measured approach when selecting titles to go to PC. Thoughtful, measured approach. Every title that you have, considering if you're going to another platform, is a thoughtful, measured approach. But he didn't say PC, he said platforms. Now, I'm going to be breaking down that fire chat, and I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to see that stuff here, depending on where I place this part of the video inside the video. But I like to see how the reason why I say PlayStation is Kong is because at all times they try to save this dude. At all times they try to do things to give Kong a favorable light. I think the media understands the dire situation in which Sony is in more than they let on. And I understand there's a lot of you guys out there, and this is the part where my heart hurts for you guys, because it's a lot of you guys out there that don't know who to believe, right? So 1 minute you guys are talking numbers, sales numbers, and expecting from the podcasters that are telling you different things. And listen, I eagerly encourage you to start using your own mind. I eagerly encourage you to start figuring things out for yourself, because there's a lot of deception pointed your way. And I know some of you can't help it. I know some of you guys are, a little bit in a situation and it's challenging for you guys. But a lot of you guys that can actually think for yourselves, I understand that you guys have saw the fire chat or heard of the fire chat and really came up with your own assessment of things, and I appreciate that. But a little bit more vocalization in certain communities go a long way. This was an article that was disingenuous, but we know VG games are like that anyway. So we live in an age where people want to be the first person to say this and the first person to say that. We live in an age where people claim to be insiders, have insider information. I never claim to be an insider. I don't have insider information, but I do go to places and I do have relationships with people that are in the industry. I have relationships with developers. I have relationships with CEOs. I have relationships with presidents. I have relationships with engineers. I have relationships with a ton of people, right? From all walks of life in the industry, inside the industry and outside the industry, all right, from shipping, from retailers and stuff like that. Now, this information right here is based in what somebody can extrapolate from a situation. You know, they will tell you that they have a reliable insider, but there's no one that is more reliable than probably an engineer that I know that is working on said devices, right? So the Xbox handheld has been essentially canceled to focus on the next software platform. Now, this is based off of them revealing them working with Asus and the ROG Ally, the Xbox ROG Ally X and the Xbox ROG Ally. These two devices are devices that was co-engineered with Xbox and Microsoft, with the Xbox branding put on the box, and the Microsoft push with the device, with the software inside the device that changes the device fundamentally from the ground up to what the operating system normally is. The operating system inside the ROG Ally is Windows 11. What this thing does, and the one that's on the screen right now, actually removes all the bloat that's outside of that. But the bigger question is what happens to Microsoft's own console. And the thoughts are that they would essentially disrupt that. They would actually just cancel that in favor of this device. Now, that can be twofold, right? That can be true and it can be false, right? False, not knowing the future. True, knowing what has been presented. What has been presented is a more than capable machine that is being manufactured by a more than capable company that is eager to make sure that they make headway in the PC handheld sector, if you will. Microsoft and Xbox sees this eagerness and partners with them to probably gauge where the marketplace is looking when it comes to a device, if it's warranted from them. Now, I can say this. The reason why I have a ROG Ally, and I have an OG ROG Ally until I actually purchased this ROG Ally, and that ROG Ally is probably up for sale right about now. But the thought process is I'm able to, well, the reason why I got my ROG Ally is because I'm able to download my games straight to my ROG Ally, all the games that I own. Now you have over 1,000+ games that are either back compatibility or play anywhere or whatever with the Xbox app on the ROG Ally. Now you will hear a bunch of people tell you that you can't do that, and this is not, all that stuff is not true. The existing ROG Ally right now, you can download the games. But the problem with the ROG Ally, to my displeasure, is the fact that it's a Windows 11 device. And being a Windows 11 device, I'm not tweaking and twerking when I pick up my handheld. That's the reason why I prefer my Steam Deck over my ROG. I find that the performance in certain games are equal, if not better. I think the experience itself, getting into the handheld, is greater than the ROG, but the performance on the ROG far exceeds the Steam Deck. But sometimes performance isn't the only metrics in which you gauge your handheld experience. With myself talking to Jason Ronald over the week, up until the weekend, I expressed my displeasure with the Windows 11. And I didn't ask him any questions about the existing handheld that Microsoft is engineering themselves. No, we talked more about this device here, the ROG Ally X. That was before and after the reveal. Before the reveal, I asked him, was he upset with the performance comparison with the MSI Claw Xbox Windows version against the Steam Lenovo Go version? And yeah, in the building, they should not be outperformed in any metrics. So, of course, their level of upset forms the let's put what we're working on the side to a hold while we optimize our operating system to outperform whatever the Steam Deck has to offer. So when you have language like that and you have an introduction to a handheld, of course you can come to an assumption that the already talked about handheld that will be directly shipped from Microsoft would probably undermine this device and any other devices that's in the marketplace. So your natural assumption would be that that device from Microsoft itself would be canceled, if not just thrown away. You can't cancel something that has never been announced. So again, it was always speculation to begin with. We see them going in a different direction when it comes to the handheld. That doesn't mean that Xbox won't offer a handheld in the future, but I see a lot of people in the comments stating that they want an Xbox device. This is an Xbox device. If I pay for something, I own it. The operating system is an Xbox. The device is engineered in co-development with ROG. The innards itself are the same innards that you have inside your normal Series X and X in your PlayStation. AMD is delivering the chipset. People have to stop saying this is a PC or this is all of them are PCs. All of them has x86 based. All of them have AMD chipsets. You really have to get off this old mentality. This is not bespoke hardware. Actually, it's the user interfaces and the software that actually dictates what these hardwares turn into at the end. They're blocked off user-wise. They're wall gardens, if you say, for no reason. Microsoft seems to be shedding the wall garden in hopes for greater pastures and larger incomes, and that seems to be bearing fruit. So apparently, price point was released for the Xbox ROG Ally X and the Xbox ROG Ally, and a date was released. Well, apparently in October, this thing should be coming out, and that might be true because we see a lot of activity in the month of October when it comes to Xbox releasing games or games being released in general. It's a large month for the holiday season. And I think October kicks off the purchasing all the way through from October to November to December. I don't know. I think Black Friday is somewhere around there. I have no idea, honestly. I kind of give up on the holidays, the way I celebrate them. So again, October, they're talking about a late October release for this device. And the price points, they're talking £5.99 for the white version and £8.99 for the black version. My assumption that the price point will be $7.99 for the Xbox Series X Ally. I mean Xbox Series, Xbox ROG Ally X, and $6.49 for the Xbox ROG Ally. Now I could be off somewhere by $70 to $80. They could come in at $8.50 for it, right? Because I said $799, so they could come in at $850 for the larger one and $650 for the black one, $850, the white one, $650. It could be that. These are not cheap devices. The image itself, minus the screen, minus the forcing it to a different form factor, and if you was to put those into console form factor under the TV, you could lop off a good $200 on either one of them. So again, the screen, the portability, the docking ability, all this other stuff, you have to worry about heat dissipation and all this other stuff. It's warranted that price. I think $850 is a good price for the device. Listen, anyone that's out there that's going to ask me, will it outsell the Switch? No, it won't outsell the Switch, and it's not made to outsell the Switch. Will the Switch outperform it? No, the Switch 2 will not outperform it. So the way people are looking at Microsoft strategies, they don't need to outperform you. I mean, they don't need to, outsell you. They're not in the business of outselling any of the competitors. And they're not competitors. They're actually customers. They're not in the business of outselling them. They're in the business of making money. There's no prize to say, well, we sold 160 million. Okay, you sold 160 million. What software do you sell? Because we make more money from software. Hardware costs actually ramp stuff up, changes the way you look at things. That's the reason why PlayStation is probably ducking that fade when it comes to PlayStation 6, because they really didn't get the life cycles that they needed outside of the PlayStation 5. They really want people to get off of the PlayStation 4 so they can get more money from them on the PlayStation 5. So, price point is only relative to the individuals that find value in it, right? So if you find value in it, good, that price point works for you. If not, then go get an older ROG and wait for the update to ship for you. Me, myself, I don't like the ergonomics of the ROG. It's okay. It's not great. Again, price point matters. But price point doesn't matter to who you're trying to sell it to. A Switch 2 is trying to be sold to a teenager or a kid. Xbox ROG Ally X, that's being sold to an adult, a responsible adult that understands exactly what they're getting, and they're a little bit more knowledgeable when it comes to the device that they have in their hand. Apples and oranges. Well, actually, peaches and grapes, because PlayStation, Portal, and the Switch are grapes. If anyone is going to take the slings and arrows, it might as well be Xbox and Microsoft, because fans are supposedly not happy with the direction that Xbox and Microsoft is going with when it comes to games not being physically on the disc. Physically on the disc seems to be a contention point for 20% of the fan base, because 80% of y'all are digital. So 20% of the fan base is fighting for physical games. So what Microsoft and Xbox has done is they have a happy medium. You want a box? Cool. You want a disc? Cool. They give you that. But in that box and in that disc and on that disc, it's not all the information. You put it in, you go through your DRM check. Oh, you're verified, this, that, and the third. You agree to this license, blah, blah, blah. And then you download the rest of the game. Microsoft has found a happy medium. Well, apparently, a lot of you guys are upset with this. Me, myself, I could give two about it, be honest with you. I just digitally download my games anyway. I just be like, boom, digitally download. I got the game, and that's what I'm going to do. A lot of you guys are in the space where you want your games. Now, a lot of stores have been finding out that the SKU code, when you track physical games, isn't there. So this is a part where, little by little, store shelves will stop stocking these games. You will have codes. GameStop is moving towards trading cards. When I was going to get my Switch 2, I realized that, which is wild enough within itself, Magic the Gathering was a huge thing. Pokemon cards was a huge thing. GameStops was setting up tournaments for Pokemon cards and stuff like that. Times are changing. Stuff is innovating. People are more inclined to the immediate reaction, the immediate dopamine of I need to have it now. We are no longer in the wait overnight. So when I saw everybody standing outside getting the Switch 2, I was kind of elated, but I wasn't there. Mine was being shipped to me from West Virginia. Thank Lord Attic. But I got a chance to watch COG go get his at a midnight launch, and it was good to see it, but it wasn't something that I missed. I saw them doing it, and I just realized that that passed me by. That whole physical thing, just give me my digital stuff and let me keep it moving. And I know you're gonna say that well, you don't own it, and I'm gonna retort back to you. You don't own anything either, especially if you get a disc with games on it that's not the full game. And I know there's a lot of games out there, and the site's dedicated to track your physical games stuff. But if you're basing your channel on that, you'll be doing vintage stuff soon. That's all. The games that are being released so far in July is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, Grounded 2, Wheel World, and Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, out of this bunch, is probably the hardest game I've ever played, bro. I'm not into those Souls games, and I'm definitely suck at parrying and all this other stuff, but it's a build up to the game. Lord Attic made it pretty far in the game. I kind of suck at it. But Grounded 2, I look very forward to this game because we had a good time with it. Wheel World looks exciting. And Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 brings back childhood memories of me, a black kid, from the hood. The only way I experienced skateboarding was back in the days, had a skateboard. None of that serious stuff. We didn't have skateboard parks, but we saw stuff like that on TV. And, playing Tony Hawk actually got us closer to that. So through the experience of video games, I think that piqued a lot of curiosity in a lot of the children from my neighborhood. So some guys went on to actually pro skate or have some pro skating knowledge later on. And through that, they did open up a couple of skating parks in my neighborhood, or ramps, if you will. I wasn't that daring. And same thing with Wheel World. It looks like a cross-country bike racing game. Okay, that's cool. We used to play bike racing, with our friends and stuff and do the bike-a-thon. That's cool, but to the video game portion, I always wanted to be Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, so that's why I like Grounded. Grounded 2 looks like more of the same, but greater, just at a larger scale. So July looks like a wonderful month for Game Pass. If you happen to have Game Pass, and I don't know why you're watching me if you don't have Game Pass, because you know what I tell you all the time, what you should try, well, then go do that. But Game Pass for the win. Wu Chang, I hope y'all ready, boy. I hope y'all ready. Now, the ongoing narrative in the streets is that's not an Xbox handheld, and I won't support that. You won't support it because you know it's going to be a high price. Right. You won't support it like the same way that you guys said that you won't support the PlayStation 5 Pro when you found out the price was $800. And then the fact that that thing was, I paid like $900 for that machine with the stand and the game and the the shipping was free. And was the stand? Oh, and the disk drive. When y'all found out that Pro was that price, all of y'all rejected. I'll wait for a PlayStation 6. That's why when I say hashtag no PlayStation 6, it bothers you because you can't afford a Pro. So you think that the PlayStation 6 is going to come in cheaper than a Pro? You got to be stupid. If you can't afford the tech, get out. Or they do have a device for you, it's a PlayStation 4. Or to a lesser extent on Xbox, you can go stream it with an Amazon Fire Stick. I mean, I got a couple of those Fire Sticks for my pops for Father's Day. Nah, I think I got it for his birthday or something like that. I was at his house. He ordered it. I paid for it. But he doesn't play games. He's a casual. So a streaming device is definitely worth it for him. But to try to trample on all the good that Xbox does, y'all hate Game Pass because you try to say that you don't want to be renters. Well, you hate Game Pass because it's not available on your device. If PlayStation games was day and date inside that PlayStation Plus, you would not care. I have PlayStation Plus. So am I a renter over there as well? You see, it only fits you when it fits you. You cannot download games natively to that portal. So is that not a PlayStation? But you can download games natively to your ROG Ally. And that Xbox ROG Ally X is going to be even more so of an Xbox. With no going to dashboard, just going straight to the interface. So when you see something that's a high price, it's indicative of your pushback. And also, just because something comes out doesn't mean that it destroys what you like. I like a lot of stuff that is probably not liked by many, right? I like the PlayStation VR 2, which was hated by the PlayStation community. The same way the PlayStation VR 1 was hated by the community. You guys pick and choose the devices that you like based off of the prices that you can afford. The moment that you realize that the PlayStation VR 2 was that price, you immediately started to hate. Your hate is dictated by your finances, and I absolutely get it. The reason why you hate Xbox is because you don't want to spend another $600 for a console after you did that so much to get a PlayStation 5. But you'll buy the games. So you really don't hate Xbox. You just hate the fact that you don't want to spend more money to access Xbox games. And the fact that you do have a PlayStation, well, if they bring games over, I'm going to buy them by the buckets. And that is the reason why Xbox has learned to don't pay attention to the echo chamber and just go out there and make money. So yeah, you will see a device made by an Asus. You'll see a device made by MSI, Hewlett Packard, and such and such. And they will be Xbox devices. They will give you the Xbox experience. If you remember the PlayStation Fire Chat, they talked about the PlayStation experience. What it is to experience. They're parroting talking points made by Xbox. When are you going to wake up and realize the whole end goal for all of them is to give you a device that's hopefully not made by them, that they could just make software and get you the software that you want. Xbox Next hardware under the television will probably be made by somebody else. Somebody like maybe Steam or somebody. I don't know. But I can honestly see that. And I can also honestly see this same software operating system that they're putting in the handheld is the same operating system for that device that you're able to jump in between all storefronts. And they can get you that device for $600-700, depending on the configuration that's inside the box. This is what Steam did with Steam machines. It wasn't successful because Steam doesn't have the brand power of Xbox. But Xbox is going to be in its 25th anniversary year, launching the greatest games from Halo, Gears, and Forza to Fable, Perfect Dark, and many others, launching on that device. Got Game Pass? Good. Download your games? Great. You are in the ecosystem. And those devices will be universally branded in Xbox. Microsoft and Xbox is changing the paradigm in which we see video games. No longer are you constricted to one developer making this one device, one manufacturer making this one device. No. You will be assaulted by a neighborhood of different devices that have different configurations that plays your games to the utmost optimum that you want them to play at. No longer would you be held back by certain metrics. The new paradigm shift is to play anywhere, to play everywhere, to play with everyone at all times. On any screen, anywhere you can compute. That's Hiroki Totoki talking. I want you to understand that both of these companies have the same goal in mind. Get you into their digital ecosystem where you are trapped and they are extrapolating cash from you. If you listen to the PlayStation Fire Chat, they told you they want to monetize you to death. Xbox wants to do the same. You just need to find out where you want to game. But you know where I like to game, because I have over 1,000 and some odd games on the PlayStation and 1,000 and some odd games on the Xbox. That's not counting my physical. But if you liked anything in this video, please become a member. The members are lifeblood of the stream. But if you can't become a member, that's cool. Hit that notification bell and sub to the channel and hit a like. It costs you nothing. You got hours of entertainment from me. I drop a video daily. But again, I did this for the fathers. For each and every last one of you dudes. Eat your meal. Sit back and relax and know that you have value. And today I'm going to say happy Father's Day to each and every last one of you. Because you matter. And this world will not move without the men in it. And I'm going to tell you, like I always tell you, try to play the Game Pass.